Jake Miller stood in front of the mirror. In his small room on the ship, his hands shook a little as he fixed his tie. Today was the biggest day of his life. He was going to meet aliens for the first time, real aliens, the ship knew. Horizon had been flying through space. For 3 weeks, Jake was part of the first human team to meet the Caltheran Empire. Nobody knew what these aliens looked like or what they wanted. Jake's job was simple. He had to be polite and not start a war. "You ready for this?" Captain Lisa Brown asked as she walked into his room. She was tall and serious. Her uniform was perfect. She had been in space for 15 years and had seen many strange things, but never aliens. "I think so," Jake said. He was 32 years old and had worked as a diplomat on Earth for 10 years. He was good at talking to people and solving problems. But talking to aliens was different. Very different. "Remember what we talked about," Lisa said. "Be calm, don't touch anything, don't make sudden moves. We don't know how they think." Jake nodded. He had studied all the reports. 3 months ago, the Caltheran Empire had sent a message to Earth. They wanted to meet. They said they came in peace. Earth's leaders decided to send a small team to a neutral space station. The space station was huge. It was bigger than any building Jake had ever seen. It floated in empty space between human and alien territory. The station belonged to neither humans nor aliens. It was a safe place to meet. Jake walked to the shuttle bay with Captain Brown and 3 other team members. Dr. Amy Clark carried a bag full of recording equipment. She wanted to study everything about the aliens. Commander Rick Stone was their guard. He had weapons but hoped he would not need them. The last person was Ben Cooper, technology expert. The shuttle flew them to the space station. Jake looked out the window and saw alien ships. They were beautiful and strange. The ships were white and curved like seashells. They glowed with soft blue light. "Those ships are amazing," Ben said. "I wonder how they work. Maybe we'll find out." Jake said the space station had a special meeting room. It was round with windows showing the stars. Half of the room was made for humans. The other half was made for aliens. Nobody knew what the aliens needed, so the station builders had tried to think of everything. Jake and his team sat at a long table. They waited. Jake's heart beat fast. His mouth felt dry. Then the door on the alien side opened. The first alien walked in and Jake forgot how to breathe. She was tall, maybe 7 feet. Her skin was blue like the ocean and seemed to shine with its own light. She had long silver hair that moved like it was underwater. Her eyes were large and golden. She wore clothes that looked like they were made of starlight. Behind her came 5 more aliens. They all looked similar but smaller. They were clearly important people. Their clothes had symbols that might have been writing. The tall alien sat down across from Jake. When she looked at him, Jake felt like she could see inside his soul. Her golden eyes were kind, but also very old and wise. "I am Queen Zara of the Calthurian Empire," she said. Her voice was musical and beautiful. She spoke perfect English. "We have come far to meet you, Captain." Brown stood up. "I am Captain Lisa Brown of Earth. We are honored to meet you. This is our diplomatic team." Queen Zara nodded to Lisa, but her eyes stayed on Jake. There was something strange about the way she looked at him, like she knew him from somewhere. "I know your names?" Queen Zara asked. Lisa pointed to each Person, this is Dr. Amy Clark, Commander. Rick Stone, Ben Cooper, and Jake Miller. When Lisa said Jake's name, something amazing happened. Queen Zara's eyes went wide. She stood up quickly. Her alien friends looked surprised and worried. Queen Zara pointed directly at Jake. She turned to the aliens beside her and said something in their language. It sounded like singing mixed with wind chimes. Then she smiled, the biggest, happiest smile Jake had ever seen. She turned back to the human team and said in clear English, "This is my husband." The room went completely quiet. Jake felt like the world had stopped spinning. His team stared at him with open mouths. The alien council looked shocked but also excited. "I'm sorry, what?" Jake said. His voice cracked like he was 13 years old again. Queen Zara walked around the table. She was graceful like a dancer. She stopped right in front of Jake and looked down at him with those golden eyes. "You are my husband," she said. "Again. I have been waiting for you, but we just met," Jake said. He looked at his team for help. They all looked as confused as he felt. Dr. Clark stepped forward. "Your Majesty, I think there might be some misunderstanding. Humans don't usually get married when they first meet." Queen Zara laughed. The sound was like silver bells. "Oh, but we have met before many times, in my dreams." Commander Stone's hand moved toward his weapon. Captain Brown gave him a sharp look that said, "Don't you dare." "This is wonderful news," said one of the alien council members. "The Queen has found her mate. We must celebrate." Wait, Captain Brown said. She held up her hands. "Let's slow down here, Jake. Do you know this lady?" Jake shook his head. He was still staring at Queen Zara. She was the most beautiful being he had ever seen. But that wasn't the strange part. The strange part was that looking at her felt like coming home after a long trip. "I've never seen her before in my life," Jake said. "But I have seen you, Queen," Zara said softly. "Every night for 6 months you come to me in dreams. You speak to my heart. I knew when I saw your face that you were the one." She reached out and touched Jake's hand. When their skin met, Jake felt a shock of electricity, not painful but warm and tingling, like touching a battery made of sunshine. Queen Zara gasped and smiled even wider. "Yes," she whispered. "It is you." Jake stared at their joined hand. Her skin was warm and soft, just like human skin, but it glowed faintly where they touched. "This is crazy," Ben whispered. Dr. Clark pulled out her recording device. "Fascinating. Some sort of psychic connection, perhaps." Commander Stone looked ready to fight. This could be a trap. Captain Brown was thinking hard. Jake could see the wheels turning in her head. This was either the best thing that could happen to human alien relations or the worst. Queen Zara squeezed Jake's hand gently. "Do not fear," she said to the human team. "This is a great blessing. When a Calthuran ruler chooses a mate, it brings peace and prosperity to both peoples. But I didn't choose anything," Jake said. "I don't understand what's happening." "Understanding will come," Queen Zara said. "For now, just trust what your heart tells you." Jake looked into her golden eyes and felt something he couldn't explain. It was like finding a missing piece of himself he didn't know was lost, but he was also terrified. He had come here to shake hands and maybe sign a peace treaty. He hadn't come here to get married to an alien queen. The alien council was talking excitedly in their musical language. They kept looking at Jake and nodding happily. "What are they Saying, Lisa asked. Queen Zara smiled. They are saying that the prophecies were true, that the bond mate would come from the stars. They are very pleased. Jake felt like he was in a dream, a very strange, beautiful, terrifying dream. And Queen Zara was still holding his hand. 3 hours later, Jake sat in a room that looked like it was made of crystal and light. Everything glowed softly. The chair he sat in was more comfortable than his bed back on Earth, but he felt like he was losing his mind. Queen Zara had left him alone to rest and think. Her alien friends had bowed to him. Before they left, they called him Prince Consort Jake, and it made his head spin. Dr. Amy Clark rushed into the room, carrying 3 books and her computer. Her hair was messy and she looked excited and worried at the same time. Jake, I've been reading everything I can find about Calthuran culture, she said. She sat down across from him. This is either really good or really bad. To me, it's really bad, Jake said. Maybe then I can wake up from this nightmare. Well, the good news is that Calthuran marriages are based on something they call soul recognition. It's supposed to be rare and special. The bad news is that once a queen claims someone, the marriage is considered real immediately. Jake put his head in his hands. So I'm married to an alien? Technically, yes, but Jake, there's something else, something strange. Amy opened one of her books. According to this, soul recognition only happens between Celerans and other Calorans. It's never happened with another species before. What does that mean? I don't know, but the fact that it happened with you means something important. The door opened and Commander Rick Stone walked in. He looked angry and suspicious. Jake, we need to talk. This whole situation smells like a trap to me. What kind of trap? Jake asked. Think about it. Beautiful alien queen. Love at first sight. Mysterious dreamed. It's too perfect. Maybe they're trying to get a human under their control. Before Jake could answer, another voice spoke from the doorway. That is not our way. They all turned. A tall alien male stood there. He was not as beautiful as Queen Zara, but he had the same blue skin and golden eyes. He was older with silver markings on his face. I am Lord Vex, advisor to Queen Zara, he said. May I enter? Jake nodded. He was curious to hear what the alien had to say. Lord Vex sat down gracefully. When he moved, Jake noticed something strange. The alien moved like he was underwater, smooth and flowing. I understand your confusion, Lord Vex said. Soul recognition is not something we can explain easily. It is not a choice, it simply is. But why, Jake? Amy asked. What makes him special? Lord Vex looked at Jake with those strange golden eyes. We do not know. This has never happened before, but Queen Zara has been having dreams about your Jake for many months. She saw his face, heard his voice. She knew he was coming before. Your people sent their message. That's impossible, Rick said. Many things are impossible until they happen, Lord Vex said calmly. Jake leaned forward. What exactly does this marriage mean? What's expected of me? As Prince Consort, you would live on our home world. You would help Queen Zara rule. You would be father to her children and grandfather to their children. You would be part of our family forever. The words hit Jake like cold water. Forever. Calthurians made for life. We live much longer than humans. With our medicine, you could live as long as we do. Perhaps 1,000 years, Amy gasped. 1,000 years? This is crazy, Rick said. Jake, you can't seriously consider But Jake wasn't listening to Rick. Anymore, he was thinking about Queen. Zara's golden eyes and the way her hand felt in his when she touched him. Something inside him had woken up. Something he didn't know was sleeping. Lord Vex, Jake said slowly, can you tell me more about these dreams the Queen had? The alien nodded. She saw you standing in a place of metal and glass surrounded by stars. She saw you working with strange devices, making them do things even we cannot do. She saw you standing beside her, strong and proud as our peoples join together, working with your devices. Amy asked, what does that mean? I do not know. Perhaps we should show you. Lord V stood up and gestured for them to follow. They walked through hallways that seemed to be carved from giant pearls. Everything was smooth and curved. The walls showed pictures that moved like windows to other worlds. They came to a room full of strange machines. The machines hummed with power and glowed with different colors. Some looked like flowers made of metal, others looked like geometric shapes that hurt to look at directly. These are control systems for our ship. Lord Vex said they require training and genetic compatibility to use. Watch. Lord Vex walked to one of the flower-shaped machines. He put his hands on it and the pedals opened. Lights danced between his fingers. The machine sang in harmonics that made Jake's teeth ache. Now, Lord V said to Jake, try. I don't know how, Jake said. Just put your hands where mine were. Jake looked at Amy and Rick. Amy nodded encouragingly. Rick shook his head in warning. Jake walked to the machine. When he put his hands on the metal pedals, everything changed. The machine didn't just sing, it roared to life like a sleeping dragon waking up. The pedals opened wide and light poured out. Jake could feel the machine's thoughts in his mind. He could sense its purpose, its joy at being used properly. Without knowing how, he knew Jake made the machine create a hologram of Earth, then Mars, then Jupiter. The planets hung in the air, perfect and real. How are you doing that? Amy whispered. I don't know, Jake said, but it felt natural, like he had been using these machines his whole life. Lord Vex stared at Jake with wonder and fear. This is not possible. It takes our children years to learn what you just did. Jake stepped back from the machine. Holograms faded, but the machine continued to glow softly like it was happy. What does this mean? Jake asked. I do not know, Lord Vex said honestly, but perhaps the Queen's dreams were not just dreams. Perhaps they were visions of truth. Rick grabbed Jake's arm. We need to get back to our ship now. Why? Jake asked. Because this is getting too weird. First, the marriage thing. Now you're some kind of alien technology wizard. Something's not right here. Amy was recording everything on her device. Jake, this is incredible. You have some kind of natural compatibility with their technology. Do you have any alien ancestry, any family history that might explain this? Jake shook his head. My family has been in Kansas for 5 generations. We're about as human as humans get. Lord Vex was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, perhaps we should speak with the elder. She is very old and knows many secrets. What kind of secrets? Amy asked. Secrets about our past, about where we came from, about why your Jake can use our machines like he was born to them. Before anyone could answer, the room's light suddenly changed from blue to red. An alarm started singing in the alien language. What's happening? Rick demanded, his Hand went to his weapon. Lord Vex's face went pale. A fleet approaches. A large fleet. Ours or yours? Jake asked. Lord Vex touched one of the machines. His face grew even more worried. Yours, many ships armed for battle. Rick smiled grimly. Good, Earth Command must have decided this whole situation was too risky, but Jake felt cold fear in his stomach. If Earth's military showed up shooting, Queen Zara and her people might decide humans were enemies after all. All the progress they had made would be lost. And Jake realized with surprise that he didn't want to lose Queen Zara. Not yet, maybe not ever. We need to stop a war from starting, he said. How? Amy asked. Jake looked at the alien machine that had responded to his touch. An idea began to form in his mind. A crazy, dangerous, probably stupid idea. Lord Vex, he said, can you take me to Queen Zara right now? Of course. But why? Because if I'm really her husband, then it's my job to protect her people. And right now that means stopping Earth's fleet from doing something we'll all regret. Lord Vex stared at Jake for a long moment, then he bowed deeply. Yes, my prince, he said, I will take you to the Queen. Queen Zara stood on the bridge of her ship, watching the approaching Earth fleet through a window that showed space like it was right. Outside, Jake counted 30 human warships. They looked small and ugly compared to the beautiful Calthurian vessels, but he knew they carried enough weapons to destroy the space station. Your people seem angry, Queen Zara said to Jake. She didn't sound afraid, just sad. They're scared, Jake said. Humans get dangerous when we're scared. Jake had convinced Captain Brown to let him speak for the human team. She hadn't been happy about it, but she agreed that Jake seemed to be the only one the aliens trusted. Can you talk to them? Queen Zara asked. I'll try. Jake walked to what looked like a communications device. It was a crystal that floated in the air, glowing with soft light. When Jake touched it, he somehow knew how to make it work. This is Jake Miller calling Earth Fleet Command, he said. A voice came from the crystal, angry and harsh. Jake Miller, this is Admiral Tony Hayes. You and your team will return to your ship immediately. These aliens have clearly compromised you, Admiral. Nobody has compromised anyone. We're trying to work out a peaceful first contact here. Peaceful, according to our intelligence. They've claimed you as some kind of prisoner. We're here to get you back. Jake looked at Queen Zara. She was listening to every word, her golden eyes sad and worried. Admiral, I'm not a prisoner. The situation is complicated, but we're making progress. Son, you've been brainwashed or drugged or something. No human would willingly cooperate with an alien species we know nothing about. That's just it, Admiral. I think we do know something about them. Something important. Before the Admiral could answer, an old voice spoke from behind Jake. The young prince is correct. Jake turned around. An ancient Calthurian stood there. She was bent with age. Her blue skin faded to almost silver. Her golden eyes were clouded but still bright with intelligence. I am Elder Kai, she said. I have lived for 800 years. I have kept secrets that perhaps should be secrets no longer. Queen Zara bowed deeply to the old woman. Elder, you honor us with your presence. Child, the time for old secrets has passed. This young human carries the blood of our ancestors. It is time he learned the truth. Jake felt Dr. Amy Clark grab his arm. She had been recording everything with her device. What truth? Jake asked. Elder Kai moved slowly to the center of the room. When she spoke, her voice carried the weight of centuries. 500 years ago, great ship left your Earth. It carried 10,000 humans to the stars. They were looking for a new home, far from wars and pollution and hatred. Jake's heart started beating faster. What happened to them? Their ship was damaged by a cosmic storm. They crashed on our world, which was then empty and beautiful. We Calthurians found them dying in the wreckage of their great ship. Amy was recording frantically. You saved them. We tried, but the damage was too great. Most of the humans died. Only a few hundred survived. They were hurt, changed by the cosmic radiation and the crash. Over many generations, they became us. The words hit Jake like a physical blow. You're saying Calthurans are descended from humans? We are your children, lost in the stars, Elder Kai said, changed by time and circumstance, but still family. Queen Zara stared at Elder Kai with shock. But Elder, our history say we evolved on the home world naturally. We told your people that story to give them pride and purpose. But the truth is that we are human children grown strange and beautiful in alien soil. Jake's mind raced. That would explain why he could use their technology, why Queen Zara had dreamed of him, why the soul recognition had worked, the genetic compatibility. Amy whispered, that's why Jake can interface with your machines. He's working with technology originally designed by human ancestors. Elder Kai nodded. The original colonists built our first cities, our first machines. Everything we have comes from human science, changed and improved over centuries. The communication crystal crackled. Admiral Hayes's voice came through, suspicious and angry. What are you people talking about? Jake, report your status immediately. Jake touched the crystal. Admiral, you need to hear this. The Calarians aren't aliens. They're descended from the lost colony ship Destiny. Silence from the crystal. Then that's impossible. The Destiny was lost 500 years ago. Not lost, Admiral. Found. They survived and evolved and became something amazing. Even if that's true, it doesn't change anything. We have our orders. Queen Zara stepped forward. What are your orders? To secure human interests in this sector. These aliens, or whatever they are, have technology we need. They'll either share it willingly, or we'll take it by force. Jake felt sick. This was exactly what he had feared. Earth's military saw the Calarians as either useful tools or dangerous enemies. They didn't see them as family. Admiral, you can't attack them. They're human descendants. Even better, then they'll understand why they need to cooperate with Earth's government. Queen Zara's expression hardened. And if we refuse, then we'll consider you hostile and act accordingly. Jake saw something flash in Queen Zara's golden eyes, not fear but anger and disappointment. Your admiral speaks like a conqueror, not a cousin, she said quietly. Not all humans are like that, Jake said quickly. Perhaps, but enough are. Elder Kai spoke again, her voice heavy with sadness. I feared this day would come, when our lost children returned. Would they come as family or as masters? The communication crystal flared with activity. Admiral Hayes's voice was sharp and commanding. All human personnel will return to the fleet immediately. We're taking control of the situation. Jake made a decision that surprised everyone, including himself. No, he said. Into the crystal. Excuse me, I said no. Admiral, I'm staying here. Son, you're under orders from Earth Command. I'm under orders to establish peaceful relations with the Caltheran Empire. That's what I'm doing by marrying their queen. That's not diplomacy, that's madness. Jake looked at Queen Zara. She was watching him with those golden eyes, waiting to see what choice he would make. Maybe it's both, Jake said. But it's the right thing to do. Amy stepped forward. Admiral, from a scientific perspective, this discovery changes everything. We're not dealing with aliens anymore. We're dealing with long-lost relatives. Dr. Clark returned to your ship immediately. With respect, Admiral, I think my place is here, studying this remarkable evolution and reunion. Commander Rick Stone had been quiet during all of this. Now he spoke up. Admiral, this is Stone. I've been watching everything. These people aren't hostile, they're just different. Maybe we should try talking instead of threatening. Jake felt a surge of gratitude for his teammate, but then the crystal carried a new voice, cold and mechanical. Admiral Hayes, this is General Nina Ross from Earth Command. We've been monitoring the situation. You have permission to use any necessary force to secure those humans and Calthurian technology. Queen Zara closed her eyes. So it begins, she said softly. What begins? Jake asked. War, Elder Kai said. The same thing that drove the original colonists from Earth: fear and greed, and the need to control what they don't understand. Jake felt anger rise in his chest. After everything they had learned, after all the possibilities for peace and cooperation, Earth's military was going to ruin it all. Not if I can help it, he said. Jake, Amy said, what can you do against a whole fleet? Jake looked around the bridge. It was full of Caltheran technology that responded to his touch, technology originally built by human hands and human minds. Maybe more than you think, he said. He walked to the largest control panel on the bridge. It was covered with symbols that looked like writing and mathematics and music all mixed together. When Jake put his hands on it, the entire ship came alive around him. He could feel its systems, its power, its capabilities. And he realized that Caltheran ships were far more advanced than the Earth fleet realized. Queen Zara, he said, do you trust me? She came to stand beside him. With my life, my husband. Then let me try something that might save both our peoples from a war nobody really wants. Jake closed his eyes and reached out with his mind to every Caltheran ship in the area. To his amazement, he could feel them all. Their systems recognized him, welcomed him. He could stop this war before it started. But first, he needed to show Admiral Hayes exactly who he was dealing with. And he needed to show Earth that humans and Caltherans together were stronger than either could be alone. Jake's hands moved across the Caltheran control panel like he had been using it his whole life. Symbols lit up under his touch, and the ship responded to his thoughts as much as his actions. What are you doing? Queen Zara asked. Showing them what we can accomplish together, Jake said. Through the ship systems, Jake reached out to the Earth fleet. He didn't hack their computers. Exactly. Instead, he connected to them, like shaking hands with each ship's navigation system. Admiral Hayes's voice crackled through the communication. Crystal, angry and confused. What the hell is happening to our systems? Jake smiled. This is Jake Miller, Admiral. I'm showing you what Caltheran technology can do when guided by human Intuition, our navigation is going. Crazy, our weapons are offline. How are you doing this? I'm not attacking you. Admiral, I'm protecting you, your ships. We're about to fly into a gravity field. That would have crushed them. I've moved you to a safe position, on the viewing window. Jake could see the Earth fleet had been gently moved away from what looked like empty space, but Jake's connection to the Calthuran sensors showed him the invisible gravity trap that had been waiting there. Dr. Amy Clark stared at the display. Jake, how did you know that was there? The ship told me, Jake said simply. These machines don't just follow orders, they think they learn, they want to help. Admiral Hayes sounded shaken. This is impossible. No human should be able to control alien technology like this. Elder Kai spoke from behind them. But he is not controlling it, Admiral. He is cooperating with it. There is a difference. Who is this? This is Elder Kai, Jake said. She's 800 years old and she has something important to tell you. Elder Kai moved closer to the communication crystal. Her old voice carried clearly. Admiral Hayes, I was alive when your colony ship Destiny crashed on our world. I helped care for the survivors. The Destiny was lost with all hands. No, Admiral, lost to you. Perhaps, but not lost to the universe. The survivors became us. We are your children, grown strange and wonderful. Alien soil. Jake could hear arguments starting in the background of the Admiral's communication channel. Other voices, confused and angry. Then a new voice came through the crystal, young and familiar. Jake, is that really you? Jake's heart jumped. Ben Cooper, it's me. Brother, I'm on Admiral Hayes's flagship. Ben Cooper was Jake's younger brother. He was a space marine, tough and smart and absolutely loyal to his family. Ben, what are you doing here? When command heard you were missing, they called in anyone who knew you. I've been worried sick. Queen Zara touched Jake's shoulder. This is your brother. Yes, Ben, I'm okay, more than okay. I've learned something incredible. Jake, they're saying you married an alien queen and you're under some kind of mind control. I married Queen Zara because it was the right thing to do. And Ben, she's not really alien. None of them are, Jake quickly explained everything Elder Kai had told them about the lost colony ship, the survivors, the evolution of humans into Calthurans. There was silence from Ben's end for a long moment. So these blue people are our cousins, more than cousins, Ben. Their family. Admiral Hayes cut back into the conversation. Even if that's true, it doesn't change our mission. Earth needs their technology. Why? Queen Zara asked. What is so urgent that you would threaten war? Another voice answered, female, cold and full of authority. Jake recognized it as General Nina Ross from Earth Command. Because space is dangerous, Your Majesty, we've discovered hostile alien races in 3 other sectors, truly alien races that want to destroy all human life. We need advanced technology to protect our people. Jake felt Queen Zara stiffened. Beside him, you have enemies, big ones. General Ross said. The Void Hunters in particular, they've wiped out 2 human colonies already. We need every advantage we can get. Elder Kai's ancient face went pale. The Void Hunters still exist, you know them? Jake asked. They are the reason that Destiny fled Earth in the first place, an ancient enemy that feeds on the life force of entire planets. We thought they had been destroyed long ago, Jake felt a chill run down his spine. If the Void Hunters were real and still dangerous than Earth's desperation made sense, General Ross. Jake said into the crystal, "What if I told you there was a better way? What if, instead of taking Calthurian technology, we combined it with human innovation?" "Explain." Jake looked at Queen Zara. She nodded encouragingly. "I've been working with their machines for a few hours, and I've already improved their efficiency by 30%. Human creativity plus Calthuran engineering equals something neither species could achieve alone. Prove it." Admiral Hayes demanded. Jake grinned. "Watch your sensors, Admiral." Jake reached out through the ship systems and connected to a nearby asteroid field. Using the ship's technology, he began moving asteroids into formation, but not just moving them, reshaping them. Within minutes, Jake had built a space station from raw asteroid material, a beautiful, functional structure that combined human practical design with Calthuran elegance. "My God," Ben's voice whispered through the crystal. "How did you do that so fast?" Admiral Hayes asked. "Calthurian technology can reshape matter at the molecular level," Jake explained, "but it takes human imagination to know what to reshape it into." Queen Zara stared at the new space station in amazement. "In 800 years, none of us has learned to use our technology so creatively." "That's because you think like Calthurans," Jake said. "You're elegant and wise and patient. Humans are chaotic and impulsive and full of crazy ideas. Put them together and you get miracles," Elder Kai said softly, but then alarms started going off throughout the Calthuran ship. The viewing window changed to show something that made Jake's blood run cold. Ships were approaching, dozens of them. They were black as space itself and shaped like hungry mouths full of teeth. They moved wrong, like they were sliding between dimensions. "Void Hunters," Elder Kai whispered. Admiral Hayes's voice came through the crystal, tight with fear. "How did they find us here?" "They follow the scent of large gatherings," Elder Kai said. "Two fleets meeting would draw their attention from several star systems away." Jake could feel Queen Zara's fear through their strange connection, but also her determination. "How many?" she asked. Jake reached out with the ship's sensors. 47 ships, and they're big. Our combined fleets only have 60 ships total, Admiral Hayes said, "and we don't know if our weapons will work on them." "Ours will," Queen Zara said grimly, "but not well enough." Jake looked at the approaching enemy fleet, then at the human and Calthurian ships scattered around the space station. An idea began to form, another crazy, dangerous idea. "What if we linked our fleets together?" Jake said. "Connected the human and Calthurian ships through their communication systems." "What would that accomplish?" General Ross asked. "Human ships are fast and tough. Calthurian ships are elegant and powerful. But what if we could combine their strengths in real time?" Jake's hands flew across the control panel. He reached out to every human and Calthuran ship in the area, creating a network that had never existed before. Suddenly, human weapons could fire with Calthuran precision. Calthuran shields could be reinforced with human engineering. The two fleets became one fleet, more powerful than either could be alone. "This is incredible," Ben's voice said through the crystal. "It's like our ships are thinking together." "They are," Jake said, "and so are we." The Void Hunter Fleet was almost within weapon range. Jake could feel their hunger there. Hatred of all living things. They wanted to feed on the life energy of everyone. Present, all ships prepare for battle. Admiral Hayes ordered, "Wait, Queen Zara." Said Jake, "Can you do more than link our ships?" "What do you mean, can you?" "Link our minds, all of us human and Calthurian together." Jake stared at her. "I don't know, maybe, but that would be dangerous." "Yes, but it might be our only chance." Elder Kai nodded. Slowly, two species thinking as one, fighting as one. It has never been done. "Then let's be the first," Jake said. He reached out through the ship systems, not just to the other vessels, but to the minds of every human and Calthurian in both fleets. For a moment, Jake felt like he was drowning in thoughts and emotions that weren't his own. Then gradually, harmony emerged from chaos. Human determination mixed with Calthuran wisdom, Earth's aggressive tactics, blended with the aliens' patient strategy. 60 ships became one massive organism ready to defend all life against the Void Hunters. "By all the stars," Admiral Hayes whispered, "I can feel everyone, humans and aliens alike. We are not aliens to each other anymore." Queen Zara said, "We are family." The first Void Hunter ship opened fire, sending beams of pure darkness toward the combined fleet. Jake smiled as their united ships moved in perfect coordination to meet the threat. Real battle was about to begin. Battle against the Void Hunters lasted 3 hours and changed everything. Jake felt every moment of it through the mental link he had created between the human and Caloran fleets. He experienced the fear of a young human pilot as dark energy beams missed his ship by inches. He shared the calm determination of a Calthuran weapons officer as she calculated the perfect moment to fire. He felt the pain when ships were hit and the joy when enemies were destroyed. But most of all, he felt the growing unity between two peoples who had been separated for 500 years. Human ships used their speed and aggressive tactics to distract the Void Hunters, while Calthuran vessels struck with precision and devastating power. When human shields failed, Calthuran technology protected them. When Calthuran ships needed ammunition, human supply vessels shared their resources. They fought as one people, as family. The turning point came when Jake figured out how to combine human nuclear weapons with Calthuran energy manipulation. The IP result was a new kind of weapon that could actually hurt the Void Hunters. Strange ships. Admiral Hayes, speaking through the mental link, was amazed. "In 3 hours of cooperation, we've developed technology that would have taken either species decades to create alone. This is what we can accomplish together." Queen Zara replied, her thoughts mixing with her words. "This is why the universe brought Jake to us." When the last Void Hunter ship was destroyed, the combined fleet hung in space, battered but victorious. Jake slowly dissolved the mental link, but the connections between human and Calthuran minds remained. Friendship and trust that would last generations. Jake sat back in his chair, exhausted but happy. Through the viewing window, he could see human and Calthuran ships flying together, their crews already planning joint missions and shared technology projects. "It's over," he said to Queen Zara. "No," she said, smiling. "It's just beginning." Admiral Hayes asked to come aboard the Calthuran flagship. When he arrived, Jake was surprised to see that the stern military commander was crying. I owe you all an apology, Hayes said. I came here ready for war, and instead I found family. Elder Kai, despite her great age, had stayed on the bridge throughout the battle. She approached Admiral Hayes with steady steps. There is nothing to forgive, she said. You were protecting your people. That is what good leaders do, but I was ready to attack innocent civilians. We were never innocent, Queen Zara said. Gently, we kept the truth of our origin secret for too long. We let fear and pride keep us from reaching out to our Earth cousins. Jake's brother Ben arrived with the Admiral's shuttle. When he saw Jake, he ran across the bridge and grabbed him. A bear hug. Don't ever scare me like that again, Ben said. I can't promise that. Jake laughed. My life just got a lot more complicated. Ben looked at Queen Zara, who was watching their reunion with golden eyes full of warmth. So you're my new sister-in-law? Ben asked. Queen Zara bowed gracefully. If you will have me. Ben Cooper, are you kidding? You helped my brother save 2 entire species. You're definitely family. Dr. Amy Clark had been recording everything throughout the battle. Now she was practically bouncing with excitement. Jake, do you realize what we've accomplished? We've proven that human and Caltheran cooperation produces exponential improvements in technology, tactics, and problem solving. This changes everything about how we explore space. Speaking of which, Admiral Hayes said, General Ross has asked me to extend an official invitation. Earth would like to propose a formal alliance between humans and Calorans. What kind of alliance? Queen Zara asked. Joint colonies, shared technology, combined defense fleets. We've learned that the universe is dangerous. We are stronger together than apart. Elder Kai nodded approvingly. The children of Earth reunited at last, but Jake saw something in Queen Zara's expression. Shadow of doubt. What's wrong? He asked. Nothing is wrong. Everything is right, perhaps too right. She walked to the viewing window, looking out at the mixed fleet of human and Calthurian ships. Change is difficult, even change. Some of my people will resist this alliance. Some of yours will too. Admiral Hayes nodded grimly. There are already voices on Earth calling this whole situation a trick. They think the Calthurans are pretending to be human descendants to gain or trust, and some Calthurans believe that humans are too violent and chaotic to be trusted with our advanced technology, Queen Zara admitted. Jake joined her at the window. So what do we do? Queen Zara turned to face him, and Jake saw the strength that made her a queen. We proved them wrong. Every day, every choice, every act of cooperation between our peoples, that could take years, Ben said, or decades. Elder Kai added, old prejudices die hard. Jake took Queen Zara's hand. When their skin touched, that same warm electricity flowed between them. Then, we'd better get started, he said. 1 year later, Jake stood in a garden on the Caltheran home world, wearing robes that sparkled like starlight. The garden was filled with flowers that glowed softly in the alien sunlight, and the air smelled like cinnamon and rain. Queen Zara walked toward him down a path lined with friends and family from 2 worlds. She wore a dress that seemed to be woven from moonbeams, and her silver hair flowed like water around her shoulders. They had been married in the technical sense for over a year, but today was their real wedding, the ceremony that would officially unite not just Jake and Zara, but human and Caltheran cultures. Ben stood beside Jake as his best man, wearing a formal uniform that combined Earth military tradition with Calthuran design. Dr. Amy Clark sat in the front row, still taking notes on everything she saw. Admiral Hayes and Lord Vex sat together, planning their next joint mission. Elder Kai performed the ceremony, her ancient voice carrying clearly in the gardens. Perfect acoustics. Today, we celebrate not just the union of two hearts but the reunion of two peoples, she said. Jake Miller and Queen Zara represent the best of both worlds. Their love proves that differences in appearance and culture are nothing compared to the bonds of family. When Jake and Zara exchanged vows, they spoke in both English and the musical Calthuran language. They promised to love each other, to protect their peoples, and to explore the stars together. Do you, Jake Miller, take Queen Zara as your wife, your partner, and your co-ruler? I do, Jake said, for this life and whatever comes after. Do you, Queen Zara, take Jake Miller as your husband, your partner, and your co-ruler? I do, Zara said, for all the centuries we may share. When they kissed, every flower in the garden glowed brighter, as if celebrating with them. The reception was held in a great hall that floated above the clouds. Humans and Calthurans danced together to music that blended Earth instruments with alien harmonics. Children from both species played games that had been invented just that week. Jake's parents had made the long journey from Kansas. His mother cried when she met Queen Zara, and his father asked detailed questions about Calthurian farming techniques. I never imagined I'd be dancing at my son's wedding on an alien planet, Jake's mother said to Queen Zara, and I never imagined would have human in-laws, Zara replied. But I am very happy that I do. Near the end of the evening, Jake and Zara stood on a balcony overlooking the capital city. Lights sparkled below them like fallen stars, and above them the first joint human Calthuran space station glowed like a new constellation. Any regrets? Zara asked, leaning against Jake's shoulder. Only one. Jake said. What? I wish we could have met sooner. Think of all the time we wasted being separated. Zara smiled. Perhaps. But maybe we needed that time apart to become the people we are now, the people who could bring our worlds together. Shooting star streaked across the alien sky, and Jake made a wish. What did you wish for? Zara asked. That our children will grow up in a universe where humans and Calorans work together to explore every star, solve every problem, and protect every life. That is a good wish, Zara said, and one that I think will come true. In the distance, a new ship launched from the spaceport. It carried both human and Callian crew members, heading out to establish the first joint colony on a distant world. Jake watched it disappear into the stars and smiled. The universe was vast and full of wonders and dangers, but humanity no longer faced it alone. They had family among the stars, family that had been lost and found, changed but still recognizably human at heart, and together there was nothing they couldn't accomplish. Queen Zara squeezed his hand. Come, husband, we have work to do. What kind of work? The kind that will last 1,000 years, she said, her golden eyes sparkling with mischief and love. Planning our future together. Jake laughed and followed his wife back into the celebration, ready for whatever adventures awaited them among the stars. The alien queen had spotted him, claimed him, and changed his life forever, and he had never been happier.